Shalom. Call Loyim, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah Bahashem Rakakadash, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone and the bishops of Connecticut. Shalom. Shalom to all you brothers out here that are sincere, pushing the words of the Lord. And shalom to all the Akim and Akwaf that's scattered around the world, the elect of the house of Israel, the house of David. Shalom. All right, so without further ado, I'm getting into it. This one is called OCD and righteousness. What I've seen is something tremendously inspiring going on within the body, and I must share. I must share how important it is to actually bear witness to the devotion and levels of devotion that I've seen over the years. So, first, I'm going to bring out Mark 4 and 23. All right, and this Mark 4th chapter is going into the parable of the farmer, scattered seed. All right, the sower and the Salaki. At this point in by Mark 4 and 21, it goes into the parable of a lamp. All right, and this is all in the NLT. Bear with me when I was putting these notes together, and I was clicking on these different precepts. They all came out to be NLT. It would take way too much time right now to rearrange that. I'm just going to continue. If you want to continue in that KJV, go right ahead. For the sake of time, I'll read out the NLT. This is Mark 4 and 21. Then Yahushua asked them, would anyone light a lamp and not put it under a basket or under a bed? Of course not. A lamp is placed on a stand where its light will shine. For everything that is hidden will eventually be brought into the open, and every secret will be brought to light. Anyone with ears should hear. Anyone with ears to hear should listen and understand. Then he added, here's a point. Pay close attention to what you hear. The closer you listen, the more understanding you will be given, and you will receive more. So the secrets, essentially the secrets of being an OCD. See what the world calls OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. You can have that in righteousness, and it's actually the smartest thing you could possibly do at this point in time in your life. Turning back to the Lord, the scripture says, knowing it was, within you to go away from the Lord, when you turn back to him, seek him 10 times more, that 10 times. All right. You know what it's like to delve into the word 10 times more? Do you know what it's like to run this course 10 times more? Do you know what it's like to be faithful to the Lord and honorable to him 10 times more? Anyway, the point is, in verse 24, then he added, pay close attention to what you hear. The closer you listen, the more understanding you will be given, and you will receive more, even more. So what I'm starting to see amongst the body, amongst the fold, amongst brethren, flockium, you know what I'm seeing? There's no other way to put it so that everybody could understand at once. It's like OCD of the scriptures. It's like an OCD of this truth, which is a beautiful thing. I mean, no harm by saying this, but that's for men to actually understand what I mean by this. It's like when you see somebody with OCD and they get inside the house, what's the first thing they do? They grab the mop, they grab the bucket, they grab the Clorox. They're clean freaks, right? Or they grab the Lysol and start to spray things down, wipe things down. This is what it's like when men turn back to the word. They got OCD for the Lord, for this truth. They clicking on videos. I mean, they studying, they writing everything down. They watching it all. They are, going into the interlinear. They going into the Greek. They going into the Hebrew. They're learning the Hebrew. They're praying nightly, daily, watching the sun. Like, this is what they do for real, So meanwhile, while you're getting a drink at the bar, they studying. While you at the ball court shooting hoops with the Akim, this ain't nobody in particular at all, because a lot of brothers shoot hoops, but other brothers, the OCD brothers, is studying. The OCD brothers is in it. The OCD brothers is like going at it with the word, like deliberating, like straight up. You know what I'm saying? The time that you use to maybe shoot the shit and pop bottles, brothers is going into the word. like delving into it. You know how you have a heavy study day and you be like, whew, man, I got some studying. Nah, that's just how brothers on a regular be studying. On a regular. You know what I'm saying? OCD and righteousness type stuff, right? It says to those who listen to my teaching, more understanding will be given. But to those who are not listening, even what little understanding they have shall be taken away from them. And that's the key. That's why it's in righteousness. That's why it's in wisdom. That's why it's in knowledge. It's not like dudes are just OCD for no reason. Bros is OCD for this word because it could get taken from you if you're not listening. Yahweh was very clear in many of the things. If you understand truthfully and honestly what is about to happen before upon this world, you would be asking for OCD, the spirit. What did Elisha asked for Elijah? Let me get a double portion of your spirit. Because you see how much faith he had? And he was like, yo, I don't even have that much faith as this man. As a matter of fact, I'm going to need double what he has, please. So that's the spirit, yo. That's really the key. Like, ask the Lord to allow you to abound. Because if you're not one of those that's abounding, as the parable goes, of the parable of the lamp, but for those who are not listening, even what little understanding they have will be taken away from them. And trust and believe, Yahweh shall not bluffing when it comes to this, man. This is what it's coming down to. Deuteronomy 11:18 says, so commit yourselves wholeheartedly to these words of mine. Tie them to your hands and wear them on your forehead as reminders. You know how you see the so-called Jews and they got the frontlets on and they got the, you know, the writings on wrapped around their arm and that joint on their head. And that's all going back to the way and the customs and the practices which Israel would do, meaning, you know, you might have physical something on you. Of course, there was something called phylacteries, which the Sadducees, I believe the Pharisees, the Sadducees actually wore these things, right? As if to make this verse based upon law or something, like we had to walk around like that. However, you know, we had the fringes. That was mainly the law that helped us remind them. But this is the point of the being in the matter is that this thing, writing it something upon your heart in your head, forehead as reminders, is literally that. How do you remind yourself all the time about the scriptures? How do you get, that's the point is, don't miss the point. You have to be reminded 24/7 of these scriptures. You have to have OCD of the mind, of the spirit, B. Your spirit got to be on fire for the Lord, really, or he gonna put your fire out. It's no game no more. It's no game, yo. We love to shoot the shit. We love to chop it up. We love to do that. We love to go out. We love to see each other looking good, the new this and the new fly stuff on. But don't be remiss. The real brothers, the true worshipers, they in them books, bro, and they hitting them books. It's like the difference between you ever heard of a yeshiva school? That's where Amalek be going to school at. It's called yeshiva school. That's where they send their kids to. And these people be on some reading, studying, going crazy in the word. Of course, they reading the Talmud, which is not our book, but they going crazy in the word. And what that tells you is there's a sincere diligence of reading, of studying that's necessary. It's almost like a hyperactiveness that brothers that truly understand what the Lord's reason for causing us to return back to him tenfold, the brothers that really truly understand the conditions in which is about to play out and beface the man upon earth, brothers who sincerely repented and asking the Father to increase them in his knowledge, knowing that they come into this truth a little later than the rest of the flock, or they taking off running, man. All right, they are hitting the ground running. They getting all into the scripts. They have, the Lord has given certain men OCD of the spirit. Their spirit is on fire. All right, Joshua 1:8. Study this book of instruction continually. Meditate on it day and night, so you will be sure to obey everything written in it. Only then you will prosper and succeed in all ye do. Hold on, meditate on it day and night? What? But your favorite TV show come on at night. But your girl want to talk to you at night. But your moms and this, that, you got mad work to do. I ain't even get to study. It's like the third day I ain't even get to study. The third day you ain't get to study. Let me explain something to you. Brothers is hitting the ground running. And based upon what the Lord is saying, he's giving more to those who's putting in more and taking away. So it's that simple. Study this book of instruction continually. Joshua 1:8, man. Meditate on it day and night so you will be sure to obey everything written on it. So don't get it confused. All of this stuff in the world, that's entertainment, that's not going nowhere. That's literally it for one reason, to block your blessing. You know, ultimately, it's going to weed out all of the ones that came in here who really didn't have no place in here, who just took it for light. You know what I mean? It was just like a club. It was a hangout. You know, it's something to do on a Saturday. You know, it's a group. They ain't want to gang bang. So, you know, it's going to weed out all of that and make the sincere Akim really abound in these latter days, man. Because, yo, OCD, the spirit, that's what's going on right now. I'm trying to tell y'all. This is Psalms 1:1, and I don't mean that at no disrespect. It's literally what it looks like from a person who, you know, I ain't had OCD in the spirit. I probably had OCD in the spirit maybe like 1 or 2 years. Feel me? Out of the truth, like 1 or 2 years, where it was just like all like heavy. The rest was kind of like, you know, it was more balanced. It was more like sometimes it was a little too much on the balance. You know, hanging out, drinking, you know, just going through the motions and shit. But now that I see like what's really going on with the Akim and the flock and how serious things just took like to the letter, like, you know, what is written, study up, make sure you know what's written, make sure you know what's in the word. And it might sound crazy being that after so much time in the truth, it took this much, but really, it's just the Lord, it's just the spirit, you know, because you only know what you know. You only know what you know. So now that I've got a taste of OCD in the spirit, it's like, oh, look, this is what I'm doing. You know, Psalms 1:1. Oh, the joys of those who do not follow the advice of the wicked, or stand around with sinners, or join in with mockers. Again, this is all NLT, Salakia for those who are hard in the KJV. Please follow along in the KJV. It says, but they that delight in the law of the Lord, meditating on it day and night. It's that simple, Akim. If you studied in the day, what makes you so okay not to study at night? Well, I was studying all day. What makes you content with that amount of studying, knowing the tear of the Lord? Knowing the tear of the Lord, knowing that there's certain scriptures you ain't got a perfect understanding on. You could get a little more deeper into this subject. Knowing that there's certain subjects that you'd kind of touchy on. What makes you so content? You need OCD, the spirit, bro, because we just read it in Mark 4. Please go back and read it for yourself about the parable of the light. If your light ain't put on a candlestick, if you're not actively involving yourself constantly in this word, if you're not meditating day and night, Joshua 1:8, if you're not doing that, the Lord gonna start taking things from you, and you're gonna be that wise, you're gonna be that foolish virgin. Think about it. You was chaste, you cleaned up your way like a virgin. You chaste, you remained steadfastness in practicing and rehearsing the righteous acts, and you did all of that. Some even cast out devils in the name of the Lord. And the Lord said, I don't know you, because you were a foolish virgin. You still virgin, but you were foolish. You didn't bring enough oil with you. That's where the OCD, the spirit, really starts to make sense, y'all. And that's really why it's no shame in that, because it really makes sense at the end of the day when you take account what you're reading. Psalms 119 and 97. Oh, how I love your instruction. I think about them all day long. There's not enough time you could spend really on this word. As far as meditating on it, it should be all you do. Everybody who know you should be like, yo, that's all he do. He's a fanatic. He don't change the subject. That's all he wants to talk about is MOTB, Mark of the Beast, or concentration camps, or, you know, what's up with this guy, man? We used to talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! You don't want to talk about that no more. Someone talk about Rick and Morty. What's with this guy, man? You don't want to ride bikes no more with me? Like, it should be on some OCD by this point in time, man. All right, this is Job 26:1. Then Job spake again. How you have helped the powerless. Slakia, how you have helped the powerless. How you have helped the weak. How you have enlightened my stupidity. What wise advice you have offered. Where have you gotten all these wise sayings? Whose spirit speaks through you? So what is all of that? What is Job referring to? Right? He's referring to the fact that men teaching, men speaking, men learning, and men offering wise advice. Men who enlighten stupidity, right? Making wise the simple is the scriptures. Think about it. If the Most High has severed out positions and lots for men, and one of those lots being teachers and prophets, and then they don't do that. They're dumb dogs, right? They don't, like a dog that don't bark. Think about it. That's written in the scripture, literally, dumb dogs. The dog is supposed to bark. Is an intruder, right, coming through the window. The dog is staring at him just like I am. He ain't bark at all. He ain't wake me up, nothing. You're gonna kick, that will be the end of you and that dog friendship for life. That's what it's like when you come into this word and you take up all this knowledge, you take up all this room, and you just here, and you're not teaching, you're not getting busy with the scriptures, you're not going into it, you don't got no OCD, you just lackadaisical, you got mad days off. And about 2 days on, man, think about it, man. Don't matter how long you've been in this word, man, think about it. Somebody who literally taking more chunks daily out of their time to learn the word and get into it, and have more passion for it and show more love for it. Think about it, man. Everybody done had a woman before and the woman leave and she leave you for another dude. Come to find out she was messing with the dude the whole time. He was just showing her that attention. And what's the reason they always leave? He was showing me he was kind to me when you wasn't, or he was showing me attention. You wasn't showing me no attention. That's just like how the Lord gonna do us, man. Sophia is a woman, bro. You gotta treat her right. You gotta, Yeah, so Job 26:2, it speaks about that. Verse 4, where have you gotten all these wild sayings? Whose spirit speaks through you? So you gotta teach, man. Otherwise, that's not really wisdom if you're keeping it to yourself, because this type of wisdom needs to be taught in order to be held on to. That's the bottom line. This type of wisdom needs to be taught, and it needs to be studied, and then it needs to be taught. You got to get it in and get it off right away. Because the Lord didn't just give us the talent for us to sit on them. Once again, going to the parable of the talents. One man just took the talent and he's tucked it under. And then when the master of the house came back, he's like, "Here, king." I said, what's going on? This man bought me 50. This man bought at least doubled his. Like, what happened with you? I knew you was an all-star man. So, man, the king ended up killing him, man. If I'm not mistaken, he took the talent and killed him. Don't be that man, yo. Who thinks this is a game and, man, I'm good. I've been in the truth since 19. All right. Psalms 51:13. Then I will teach your ways to rebels, and they will return to you. Who's doing that? Who did the Lord put out in the forefront to teach his ways to rebels? In our lifetime, it's been the apostles of GMS. Of course, our apostles have taught us about their elders before them, and their high priests before them, and how it all started with Abba Bivens, who's in John the Baptist, at One West in New York City and Harlem in 1969, and how it goes along with this prophecy and Daniel's. Daniel's, how after 3.5 days, And so this is what's going on. The Lord is actually having us teach rebels so they can return back to the Lord. That means we got to open up our mouths. The next verse, forgive me for shedding blood, O power who saves. Then I will joyfully sing of your forgiveness. Joyfully sing. That's what we're doing. Remember, if you're not feeling the joy of the value of you obtaining this knowledge in these end times that's able to save you, and the joy of doing the work of the Lord, which leads to salvation. Like, that's the key word, key phrase is salvation, right? If you're not feeling the joy, then you can't sing it with gladness, right? And this word is what we singing, right? We're singing it by sighing and crying in the streets, by lifting up our voice and showing our people their transgressions. That's how we sing it. It says, unseal my lips, O Lord, that my mouth may praise you. So the Lord wants us to do that, man. He wants us to do that. Verse 17, the sacrifice you desire is a broken spirit, and you will not reject a broken and repentant heart, O power. So the Lord is looking for his elect. And the way he's opening up the redemption to his elect is by the mouth of the prophets, the mouth of his saints, the mouth of his teachers. We must show the repentant hearts out there the ways of the Lord. We have to do that with will. All right, 1 Corinthians 9:18, and I'm gonna leave it here. I'll do the second part later. What then is my pay? Is it the opportunity to preach the good news without charging anyone? That's why I never demand my rights when I preach the good news. Even though I am a free man with no master, I have become a slave to all people to bring many to Yahushua. And these are from Paul. This is Paul speaking. So we got a job to do. All right. You are a free man with no master, but you're a slave to pushing this word. You're a slave to it. Be a good slave. Don't be a poor slave. Don't be a bad slave. Don't be a hateful slave, spiteful slave. Be a good slave of Yahushua. Be a good prisoner of this hope. Teach this word. Get some OCD of the spirit in your spirit so that you can do diligently the calling and the work to make your calling, assure. Use diligence, man. And I brought this out. This video was edifying. I'm going to leave it here. TA.